Muy buenas a todos, señores, señoritas, animales y lo que haya por allá, que estamos en otro vídeo de Genshin Impact. Hoy quiero empezar explorando, ¿de acuerdo? Me quiero quitar de encima cositas, así que vamos a intentar, sobre todo, en el agua. Voy a estar como mucho unos 15 minutos, porque luego empezamos la misión y no da tiempo a explorar, porque de repente aparece una escena de 20 metros, o sea, de 20 minutos, y a la mierda. Y se acabó. Así que vamos a empezar haciendo esto. Vamos a meternos en el agua. Y por aquí que tengo apuntadas cosas. A ver qué encontramos. Vale, a ver. Aquí por lo visto hay que empujar esto. Hostia, esto huele a peligro, Esto huele a peligro. A ver, ¿qué ocurre aquí? ¿Algo que hacer? Claro, necesito el animal. El animal capullo. ¿Dónde coño estará? ¿Y esto? ¿Aquí dentro qué hay? Vale, aquí está el animal. ¡Hostia, un silly! Vale, voy a intentar coger esto. Voy a ver si el silly se mueve. Si no, pues que no se mueva. Pero voy a intentar quitármelo de encima, ya que está aquí. Y sobre todo ese animal, porque ese es el animal que nos va a permitir empujar. ¡Hostia, claro! Son 3 sillies. Hay que traer 3 sillies a esta zona, Vale, vale, vale. Entonces vamos de momento a llevar a este. Y los otros dos, pues ahora buscaremos. De momento este fuera. Perfecto. Ahora voy a intentar empujar la pelota, que supongo que habrá que empujarla por el agujero, digo yo. Pero, claro, también habrá que bajar la columna. Voy a intentar bajarla. Espero que no suba, pero si hay que hacerlo rápido, hay que hacerlo rápido. Vale, entonces... No, pero empuja, coño. Y... bueno, hemos fallado, vale. Ya entiendo. Bueno, espero que me la traigan de vuelta, porque si no, joder. Vaya mierda, tío. Me estoy empezando a desesperar ya, Y acabamos de empezar, ya está el juego haciendo de las suyas. Haciendo el guarro, tío, vete a tomar por culo, de verdad. Joder, baja la columna. Tengo que situarme creo que más arriba. No hace falta estar media hora para empujar la mierda esta, No hace falta. Simplemente, pam. Esto es una mierda, Esto va a ser una mierda. O soy malísimo o el juego es tonto, tío. Hostia, de verdad, esto es una mierda. El que ha hecho esto es gilipollas. Así de claro lo digo, tío, madre mía. A ver, línea recta, putos cara. Que eres tonto, ¿qué coño te pasa? A ver, línea recta, por favor. Línea recta, hay que meterlo ahí. No creo que sea tan difícil, ¿no? Tanta chorrada para eso, tío, es increíble. Bueno, 2 minutos para esto. Lamentable, la verdad, muy lamentable. Venga, fuera, una cosa menos. Esfera de mi culo. Vale, sí, aquí hay que buscar sillies. Vale, y estoy viendo otro. Perfecto. Entonces vamos rápidamente a hacer cositas con el silly. Bueno, estos que se queden ahí. Va, silly, muévete. A lo mejor tengo que matarlos primero. Vale, vamos a utilizar este poder. A lo mejor estoy obligado a matarlos, Hostia, chaval, vale, aquí abajo hay algo que coger, Esto es mío. Se me perdió el otro día. Vale, a ver si el juego por lo menos... Hay que matar a las anguilas, ¿Veis? Madre mía. Menos mal que me ha dado por mirar esto, Vale, aquí cerquita teníamos matar 3 anguilas a la vez. Aquí hay un silly. Pero aquí un momento, hay algo ahí. Un momento, ya que estoy aquí voy a... Ahora vamos a por el silly. Vamos a por el silly, pero... rápidamente. Pam. Perfecto, bueno, esto simplemente para esto, pero bueno, todo cuenta. A ver si ahora se mueve el silly, porque, a ver, algo le pasa a este silly. Algo le pasa y habrá que averiguarlo. Vale, ahora sí se mueve. Había que eliminar a esos capullos. Vale, entonces solo faltará un silly, pero bueno, debe estar por ahí. A ver, pam. Perfecto, gracias. Subimos, bajamos. Bajamos, subimos. Venga, silly, espabila, hostia. Vale, solo queda un... que está por ahí, andará. Vale, aquí abajo, ¿qué? Algo que yo puedo hacer. Sí, seguramente sí. Primero tengo que buscar al animal que yo he visto hace un momento por aquí. Yo lo he visto, por aquí. Bueno, si el juego quiere joderme, pues ahora de repente no aparecerá. Ahí está, ¿veis? Ven aquí, guarro. Vale, gracias. A ver esto. Coño. Vale, esto es para abrir la puerta, bueno, la barrera esa, que no sé qué es. Un momento. ¿Le das? Tío, dale. Ah, vale, esto está iluminado, esto no. O quizás sí. Vale, aquí arriba. Ah, hay que darle a esta, Un momento. ¿Desde aquí le podré dar? Ah, no, claro, lo que necesitaré. Vale, creo que ya sé lo que necesitaré. Creo, Hostia, esto va a ser un poco raro, ¿Aquí dentro qué hay? Hostia, el silly este... Cuidado, un momento. El silly este... Voy a intentar quitármelo de encima. Silly, gracias. Venga, vamos. Uf, para averiguar esto habrá que investigar, Vale, sube, a ver si puedo por lo menos quitarme de encima el cofre valioso. Supongo que este cofre no tiene nada que ver con lo que hay abajo. Simplemente son los 3 silis. Coño. Vale, encima, tío, este logro, que ya tengo no sé cuántos logros. 1097, yo creo que no está nada mal, la verdad. Vale, fuera. Ahora vamos a... ¿Qué hago? ¿Y esto para qué era? ¿Para qué coño era esto? No me acuerdo. Voy a intentar seguir subiendo esto. Ah, ya entiendo el chiste. Creo que ya lo entiendo, es decir, esta se ha apagado. O sea, solo se encienden cuando están como sumergidas del todo. Es decir, que esta columna habrá que bajarla. Un momento, voy a intentar bajarla. Vale, acércate, coño. Para bajarla no es así. Es así. Vale, entonces la vamos a bajar del todo. Y con un poco de suerte las otras ya estarán encendidas. Estoy viendo que... Ya. Mierda. Vamos rápidamente a... Vale, tío, sí señor. Madre mía, de verdad, es que yo he nacido para estos puzzles. Sí señor. Meca, de mecanismo. Cofre valioso de los 3 silis. Y aquí hay un cofre sofisticado. A ver, ¿qué cojones significa esto? Ah, habrá que derrotar a esos capullos. Oh, pues los vamos a derrotar. Aquí hay 2 pegados. Vale, a ver, ¿dónde estás? Aquí. Pam. 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 Vale, pero falta alguno más. Aquel de allí que viene, ¿no? Supongo que será este. Digo yo, Tiene pinta, tiene pinta. ¡Pam! Bueno, este me está ignorando. Me gusta, la verdad. ¡Pam! Gracias. Muy amable por ignorar. Joder, así da gusto pelear. Vale, entonces... ¿ahora qué? Este fuera. Vamos a intentar venir aquí. Que hay un cofre sofisticado. De hecho, ya lo estoy viendo. Vale, llevo ya... Aquí hay otro. Un momento, pero este... Ah, vale, sí. Este es el que tengo apuntado aquí. Vale, son... Llevo casi 9 minutos. Vale, un ratillo más. Un ratillo más. Perfecto. Sí, señor. Joder, sí, señor. Vale, fuera, pam, pam. Es que me quería quitar, sobre todo las que estaban bajo el agua. Todos los cofres debajo del agua me los quería quitar de encima. Y poquito... Coño, la tos. Y poquito a poquito. A ver, por aquí hay un mecanismo. ¿Qué coño es? Joder, ¿qué cojones es? Hazme el favor. A ver, rápido, rápido, rápido. Es por ahí. A ver qué habrá que hacer. Vale, aquí hay algo. Ah, mira, esto está bien. La caracola esta, que siempre nos señala lugares importantes. Vale, por ejemplo, ahí abajo hay algo. ¿Pero el qué? Ah, vale, recogemos esto. Lo colocamos aquí. Y ahí por lo visto hay algo más. Que quizás sea la otra parte, sí señor. Perfecto. Entonces lo vamos a colocar en este otro lado. Y ahora necesito... Bueno, voy a ver si encendiendo esto, ¿qué ocurre? No sé si hay cambios, pero bueno. Voy a coger esto. Y voy a coger, ya que estoy aquí, esto y esto. Aunque bueno, eso realmente da igual. Y a ver dónde coño hay que ir ahora, tío. Habrá que hacer algo con esto, pero no sé el qué. Ah, vale, creo que es para encajar esto. No sé hasta dónde, la verdad. Vale, yo creo que es hasta donde se han iluminado, ¿verdad? Es decir, hasta aquí. Bueno, no lo sé. Ah, habrá que cerrar la esclusa esta. Vale, ya lo entiendo. Entonces le vamos a dar ahí. Y yo creo que ahora se mueve solo una, ¿no? No, tío. Se mueven todas. Ah, ya. Ya lo entiendo, es decir, se mueve... ¿Qué se mueve? Solo hay una, ¿no? Vale, ya lo pillo. Ya lo pillo. Hostia, va a ser difícil, ¿no? Vamos a llevarlas para atrás. De momento... Un momento, voy a intentar... A ver, necesito abrir la otra. Quiero... Vale, por lo visto ya las hemos colocado. Hostia, un poco de casualidad, también os digo, ¿eh? Ahí he tenido un poco de suerte. Suerte del principiante, le dicen. Vale, pues vamos a ir para allí. Hostia, a ver, otra pelota. Eso de las pelotas a mí me pone un poco nervioso, ¿eh? Y más si tengo que ir rápido. ¿Esto qué significa? Que yo tengo que disparar desde aquí. Ah, ya lo veo, ya. Hasta ahí, ¿no? De acuerdo, pues vamos a intentarlo. Y... ¡pum! ¿Perdón? Ah, vale, ya. Tengo que, creo que, quitar la barrera. Ah, la barrera esta, ya. Tenemos que entrar por aquí. Y ahora creo que está quitada la barrera. Ahora creo que sí. Entonces desde aquí vamos a intentar disparar un poquito. Hostia, qué golazo, sí señor, de verdad. Esto es impresionante, tío. De verdad que lo mío es acojonante. Y no está escrito. Esfera, exacto, esfera. Uf, hay cositas aún, A ver, aquí tenemos un cofre valioso y un cofre sofisticado. Y aquí, bueno, esto está fuera, esto ya en otro momento. Vamos a intentar quitarnos alguna más de encima, a ver si da tiempo. Esto es un cofre valioso, por lo tanto debe ser jodido, averiguar qué hay que hacer aquí. Efectivamente. ¿Qué coño habrá que hacer aquí? Vale, ahí dentro ¿me puedo meter? Sí, poder puedo. Voy a intentar reventar a este bicho. Vale, estoy viendo aquí cositas ya, aquí dentro. Vale, fuera, a tu casa. Vale, esto... Perdón, sí. La tos hace cosas. Ah, ahí. Vale, esto va a ir aquí. Perfecto. Voy a coger esto. Y ahora vamos a ver qué coño habrá que hacer aquí, porque... Vale, habrá que subirlo. Pero a ver qué ocurre, porque... O sea, esta se inunda ya, perfecto. Ah, vale, ya está. Ya está. Joder, qué bonito, de verdad. Es que no paro, tío. Es impresionante, de acuerdo. Entonces, fuera... ¿Qué hay por allí? No lo sé. No voy a entrar aquí. Voy a matar a estos, pero necesito... Exacto, amigo, te necesito a ti. Entonces, pam, pam. ¡Pum! A tu casa, amigo. Voy a tirar una en el centro y ¡pam! Fuera todos. Ha sido un placer. Y ya está. Y bueno, oye, señores, pues nada. Llevo ya 14 minutos. No sé si dará tiempo a alguna cosilla de última hora. Voy a intentar venir aquí. Quedan 30 segundos. He dicho 15 minutos, queda poco. Vamos para adentro. A ver aquí qué coño encontramos. Hostia, esto huele a peligro, No sé si está este aquí por algo. Yo creo que no, yo creo que el importante será este. Vale, aquí hay que empujarla. Coge esto, coño. Ven aquí, guarro. Hay que empujar la burbuja. Primero, que toque el número 1. A ver, ¿qué coño significa esto? Esto era para observar. Vale. Aquella burbuja de arriba, ¿qué coño es? Ahí está la tercera ahí arriba, ¿eh? Vale, entonces... Vale, fuera. No, no he conseguido. Algo falla y no sé qué coño es. Algo falla y no sé qué coño es. ¿Llega al 2? No llega al 2. Vale, entonces habrá que empujarla, ¿eh? Habrá que empujarla. Un poco por aquí. ¡Toma! De milagro, yo creo. O sea, esto es lo típico que o lo haces ahora o no lo haces nunca. Meca, yo creo que era esto. Ah, no. Tubos. Lo del mecanismo es por aquí. Algo hay por aquí que hacer, ¿eh? Algo más hay que hacer aquí. Debe estar aquí abajo, ¿verdad? Debe estar por aquí. Vale, es aquí, es aquí, es aquí, es aquí. Vale, entonces ¿aquí qué? O sea, no se mueve nadie. Joder. ¿Hola? Bueno, a ver qué coño pasa. Un momento. No tengo ganas de estar 20 años para descubrir algo, ¿eh? Juego, de verdad, lo digo con cariño, pero te estás pasando. A ver, hay que buscar algo. Yo creo que hay que buscar aquello que hay que disparar. Aquello de color azul que se vuelve amarillo al tocarlo, pero no sé dónde coño está. Coño, si aquí no ocurre nada al tocar esto, algo falla, ¿no? ¿Cómo coño abro yo las esclusas estas de mierda? Porque esto no sube, algo falla aquí, ¿eh? Por algún motivo esta mierda no sube. No cambia nada aquí. No cambia nada. ¿Qué coño le pasa a esto? Nada, esto lo voy a tener que dejar para otro día. No tengo ganas de estar perdiendo el tiempo en un juego, o sea, en un minijuego que el juego se inventa chorradas y que no tiene ganas de ayudar. Vale, pues vamos al grano. Ya otro día seguimos, hemos hecho un avance. Vamos a lo que hemos venido. A continuar la misión de Arconte. Ya hemos hecho un avance de exploración. Algo hemos hecho. Así que genial. Otro día, mañana, seguiremos intentando quitarnos debajo del agua cositas. Y ya sabré hacer eso para el siguiente vídeo, ya os lo aseguro yo. Vale, entramos. Ay, 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 señores. ¿Cómo va a ocurrir? O sea, ¿cómo va a transcurrir esto hoy? Ay, 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 lo último es que vimos a Mona. Vimos a Mona, hablamos con ella y vino a Fontaine, es astróloga, por lo tanto sabe cosas. A ver. Vale. Hemos llegado ya nuevamente con Neuvillet. ¿Qué ocurre aquí?
You're here, finally. Is something wrong? Monsieur Neuvillet and Lady Furina, they seem to have gotten into a dispute.
Hostia.
Please go see for yourself.
Hostia, esto no puede ser. A ver.
Like I said, I've already explained everything.
And yet the problem has not been properly solved. There is little space for excuses between us. It is not my intention to offend you, but please, tell me where you stand. You are the Hydro Archon Focalor, are you not? Look at this. This is a list of the victims from the recent Poisson incident.
Es que eso es trágico.
They're all...
We did not arrive in time to avert this disaster, and I will not have it happen again. I will say this once more. You must tell me everything you know. Yesterday, I found 3 stone slates in some ancient ruins near Poisson. Do you know anything about those?
Seriously? You're questioning me like this is a court case now. I don't know anything about that. But you found them in some ancient ruins, you say?
That's correct, which is why I came to ask you some questions. There should have been 4 slates, but one of them was missing. The other 3 feature different images that seem to correlate to the prophecy.
The prophecy?
The second of these slates depicts the previous Hydro Archon Egeria kneeling before a floating island in the sky, as if confessing something. Do you know nothing of this either?
I don't. I've never seen such slates.
I'll ask you again. Do you really have no information regarding the previous Archon? My deciphering of the slates indicates that the Hydro Archon Egeria once had to confess to, or apologize for, a certain sin. If anyone would know about it, it should be you.
All gods don't have the same secrets, you know. She was herself and I'm me. Is it really so strange that I know nothing? I understand your concerns, but I'm sorry. I just don't have anything to tell you.
Forgive me for saying this now, Lady Furina, but I have long known of your various secret investigations into certain matters. There are several indications that you have been investigating the prophecy on the sly. This is not strange in itself, considering that you are the Hydro Archon. But it is strange that you should also claim to not know any of Egeria's secrets, as well as do nothing following your inquiries. You have never been as superficial as you have presented yourself to be, nor are you a fool. And yet, your behavior is very inconsistent.
So you've been watching me all this time, have you? I didn't think you were that type.
You...
Well, since you know about my secret investigations, then you should know I'm actually working to take care of it. There's no point questioning or suspecting me. You're the Eudix, but you're still my subordinate. You should be following my lead. Just trust in me, you're Archon, and do as I say. Never mind whether you can truly convince yourself to or not. It'll all turn out fine. That's all I have to say. We do not discuss this matter again. Oh, the opera's about to start. Toodles!
Did Furina not notice us standing by the door? Wonder what's up with her. She was smiling. She didn't seem in the mood to care if we were listening
Está ocultando algo a propósito.
I assume you've been outside for a while now?
Oh, you noticed. Seems Furina didn't even realize we were here.
She was in a great panic, though I cannot discern the reason. Our discussion reached impasses time and again, a state of affairs that we cannot allow to continue. Still, I do not understand. Dialogue is the basis for understanding, so why did she keep refusing to engage?
A lo mejor interrogarle no era la mejor aproximación. Furina se tiene que dar cuenta por sí misma de la gravedad del asunto.
Everyone in her inner circle has noticed that she is hiding some secret. The issue is her attitude. I fear that she will not reveal anything unless absolutely forced to. We may have to create a situation in which she will have no choice but to speak.
Oh? Like what?
Normally, people will only reveal the truth when standing trial. Perhaps we must have the Hydro Archon experience just such a scenario.
But Furina's seen so many trials, and she's really good at dodging questions. How do we make sure that she won't just slip away at the first chance she gets?
We will need to consider this thoroughly, join forces with various parties, and then do what we can. If at all possible, I would prefer to recuse myself from this affair, but we must prevent the prophecy from coming to pass. This may be cruel to her, but all Fontaine is in crisis. The information a god possesses is too precious, and so we must take a chance on this.
En ese caso necesitaremos ayuda.
But who will lend us their aid?
Creo que conozco algunas personas que podrían ayudarnos. Bueno, unos días después, en un barco cerca del tranquilo Poison, veamos qué pasa. A ver quién nos ayuda. Bueno, media hora aquí ahora, por supuesto, lo de siempre. Unos días después, o a lo mejor unos meses después, porque aquí prisa no veo ninguna. Es increíble, tío. ¿Se ha bugueado o qué pasa? Hostia, lo que le ha costado cargarse a esta mierda, tío.
Well, that's everyone, huh?
Sí,
Speaking of which,
eso
it was
parece.
pretty smart of you to think of hiding here.
Poisson was just involved in a disaster, so it's presently devoid of people. That naturally makes it the best choice.
And here you are drinking tea like it's the most natural thing in the world, huh?
That's what families should do. Sit and enjoy a leisurely time together.
It's nice to enjoy tea here, you know? Care for a cup?
Lend me your ears, everyone. Or perhaps one of you might like to start us off. How about you, friend?
Me? No, I don't think I can.
Then, how about you, good sir?
I fear that I will cause the mood on this boat to become as somber as it is in court.
Well then, I guess we're lucky we've got a local like me to organize things. Wonderful, the spotlight at last.
That was a little long-winded, don't you think?
Oh, you might be right. Anyway, to cut to the chase, our friend here, the Traveler, has brought us together to discuss something. As for what that is, well, let's start by saying that we'll be pooling our efforts together to create a series of traps.
Oh, how intriguing.
Well, it's just an expression, really. One that I just learned from Chlorand, and used on the spot. So, let's invite her to explain in detail. A round of applause, please.
Huh? Didn't you say that you would be facilitating this?
Oh, come now. Your work doesn't involve much public speaking, right? This is a good chance to practice. You might even pick up some fancy oratory tricks to impress your boss with in the future.
I see. And what does my boss say?
He is glad that you consider him your boss. Do go on.
In that case, do any of you have experience hunting?
Not that I recall.
Fremine and I once used a wooden stick in a basket to catch wild rabbits when we were younger. As for Lynette, Oh, right. You were sick that day, weren't you?
I've also gone diving to catch some fish before. Does that count?
I'm afraid not. You may or may not have heard, but Fontaine once played host to a group known as the Marechaussee Hunters. Though that was their name, they did not hunt animals, but rather various monsters left behind by the ancient dynasty of King Remus. Today, Fontaine's monster population has already thinned greatly, so the hunters have blended back into society, taking up arms in other lines of work. They even left a unique methodology of hunting in their wake. A trap comprises of the following components: bait, a trigger, and a containment device. Sometimes a lethal implement will also be necessary to deal with the prey. So, if we were to build a trap together, right now, what would you choose to build it with?
For me, I would prefer something basket-shaped. Pigeons and rabbits will see the bait and naturally enter the snare. Our line of work requires a deft hand, and we're some of the best in the industry, so you can count on our techniques.
You used some of those techniques while moving the people of Poisson, didn't you? My subordinates mentioned that you even performed some magic for the bawling children.
Yes, and I even managed to gather some intelligence in the meantime. I'm quite the multitasker if I do say so myself.
I'm afraid I can't claim that as my strong suit. I prefer more stable methods, like placing bait in the water and waiting for the fish to come within reach. That's the kind of method I would count on.
Calm and steady. Exactly the kind of person who would catch loads of fish.
And I can be their assistant.
With discretion, I'm sure.
I'd probably use some sort of mechanical animal. Papa once bought me some small clockwork squirrels, mice, and such. When placed in the forest, they can attract others of their kind. I remember that you liked those too, didn't you?
I did. And that would be a good way to go about it. If they're realistic enough, animals of the same kind will follow them all the way to the trap.
What about you, Monsieur Neuvillette?
I fear I do not have any related experience.
That makes sense. You usually solve problems directly, without the use of any such tricks. But I do have one more question for you, Miss. If we were to create a trap now, how would you design it?
I would like for it to be effective, but bring no harm to the prey. A more gentle trap would be ideal.
Kind, as always. However, our intention doesn't necessarily change the containment device and the type of implement we need. If we wanted to kill the prey in one strike, we would need a powerful implement. However, that also goes for prey that must be captured and safely contained.
Wait, why is that?
Only a hunter who's a true expert at subduing their prey can snare it without harming it. The line that divides life and death is often exceedingly thin.
So, are we going hunting together?
We hadn't thought of seeing ourselves as hunters. It kinda works, but maybe it's still not the best metaphor.
If our means of capturing and dealing with our prey is to put them on trial, then the hunting metaphor is actually quite accurate. But we shall require much more courage than any hunter to judge a god, a being whose seat is an exalted throne.
Así es.
Oh,
Esto está
so
interesante,
that's what's going on.
Bueno, justo lo que ha dicho él. La metáfora de Chlorine en realidad no es más que eso, una metáfora. No se harán llamar cazadores porque ese no es el kit, joder. El kit de la cuestión. Además, su relación con Furina tampoco está en un punto tan malo como ese. Solo necesitan averiguar qué secreto esconde. Es irreverente indagar en los secretos de un dios, pero deciden asumir el riesgo para evitar que Fontaine se hunda bajo el agua, tal y como predice la profecía. En este caso no existe ni un cazador ni una presa, pero sí la posibilidad de tender una trampa. Eso es lo que necesitan, una trampa. Adelante. Vale, cuidado. Un logro, cuidado. Eso lo primero. El escenario del destino. Planea con tus compañeros la trampa para juzgar a una diosa. De acuerdo. Vale, seguimos aquí, ¿no? En cazadores y profetas. Y ahora tenemos que irnos justamente ahí abajo, hostia. Vale, pues vamos para abajo, venga. Hay que meterse en la zona inferior. Hostia, tengo un dolor aquí en la zona derecha del brazo. No sé qué coño me pasa, a ver. Vale. Pues aquí está el tema, sí señor. Veamos. ¿Qué acontecerá? Ay, ay, ay. Se vienen momentos jodidamente increíbles, ¿eh? Esas reuniones me han dado un hambre.
Paimon didn't think the meetings would go on for so long, but everyone seemed pretty fired up, huh? Paimon thought they'd be at least a little frightened. Well, Fremine was, now that Paimon thinks about it, but everyone else just looked a
¿Te
little
sientes con más confianza ahora?
Well, it's hard to say. Paimon doesn't have any experience with this sort of thing. But with you around, Paimon sure will do great. After all, you're the most reliable person in the world, aren't you? Huh?
¿Qué pasa?
Did you just pour some tea? Paimon didn't notice you doing that at all.
No, ¿qué va?
Then what's that? Paimon's never seen that cup before.
Don't be frightened. I'm just joining you two for tea. I merely refrained from saying anything till now.
Who's that voice? But there's no one here.
Aw, have you forgotten me already?
Hostia, ¿esta no será aquella voz que vimos al final de la misión de la transposición de la Génesis?
Wait, you are familiar. You're the voice we heard from
¿Veis?
the sky in Sumeru.
The voice from the sky, I fear that description is wrong. Though, not completely wrong. You're feeling lost now, just as you were feeling previously. I sensed that confusion and thus came to you. Guiding people is an irresistible hobby of mine, after all.
¿Quién eres y qué quieres de nosotros?
Consider me a passerby, just accepting a commission from my friend's disciple on a whim.
La discípula de una amiga. Cuidado. O sea, ¿ella y la maestra de Mona son amigas? ¿Y esta es la misteriosa bruja N de la aquelarre? Claro, esta está claro que tiene que ser una bruja de la aquelarre. Pero la letra N aún no sé yo qué significará. Me gustaría preguntarte algo sobre la profecía.
The prophecy. Yes, what has been prophesied will be fulfilled. You may view such things as the history of the future.
What? Then is there any way we can stop it?
I believe you have witnessed a failed attempt with your own eyes. Can everything in Tevat so easily be changed?
No puede haber ninguna excepción.
Ah, so you've caught on. Just as prophecies are usually only the future as seen from the perspectives of the gods, could things be happening in hidden corners where the gods' gaze does not fall?
Seguro que sí, por supuesto.
Are the things that you shall see different from the fate that the gods perceive?
What is she talking about? It all sounds really impressive and important and stuff, but it also sounds kind of scary.
Veo el fondo de la taza de
I
té.
believe that you understand, right? Some things are insignificant, but others you must reach out to change. Ultimately, fate shall serve as your only guide, no matter what will happen in Tevat's future. Oh,
Mierda, lo he
This
quitado sin
was
querer.
good tea, by the way. Thank you for your hospitality. Well, that'll be all for today.
The voice. It's gone.
Bueno, al menos ya le han puesto nombre a esta voz. Porque en aquella misión no. Bruja N. ¿Esa es la pista que nos das? Una bruja que forma parte de la aquelarre y seguramente sea compañera de la madre de Klee. Al despertarte te encuentras con alguien. Bueno, veamos.
Really? I might hear someone talking. All right, coming.
Qué trabajadora te has vuelto,
Hey,
Paimon.
it's you who's getting lazy, okay?
Vale, lo que tú digas.
Well, I see I've walked in on some lively banter.
Ahí está Mona.
Mona!
¿Qué tal estos días, Mona?
Fine, just fine. I went to take part in that Steambird panel. It turned out to be more interesting than I expected. Not all Fontanians are pessimistic about this. One journalist mentioned that sitting around and waiting for the end to come would be wrong, and that they should make their own rescue preparations. I agreed, so we had a brief chat with her.
Did she have pink hair by any chance?
Why, yes, it was Charlotte. You remember her, right? That daredevil journalist. I'm in full support of her view. Prophecies are very important, but how can people allow their lives to be commandeered by just a few words?
That's right! Paimon's glad to hear something sensible for once.
Ah, yes. About what we had discussed before. I did try, but I'm afraid I couldn't reach the old hag. I'll try again tonight, but I wouldn't get your hopes up.
En realidad, alguien ha venido a visitarnos. Le cuentan lo ocurrido con la persona misteriosa.
Goodness gracious. Are you serious?
Imagino que vino a transmitirnos
She
un
said
mensaje.
that even the god's gaze has blind spots. Pretty bold if you ask Paimon. Most people would believe the gods to be all-knowing, right?
The Hexen Circle members are certainly anything but ordinary. As for the mage named N, the old hag has mentioned her a few times. She said that N's sense of direction is incredible, and that she loves guiding those who are lost.
Esas brujas son muy importantes.
But
Y en
I've
algún
never met
momento
her,
algo se va a saber
and
ahí.
if she were still alive, she'd be... Well, suffice it to say that the hag's at least a few hundred now, and N's been around for longer than that.
Whoa. The Hexen Circle sounds like a scary group. But they must really stay
Lo más cerca que hemos
so
estado
long.
fue hace no mucho en la misión del archipiélago Manzana Dorada. Este año no se llamaba así, pero son islas donde Klee es la protagonista. Ahí se escuchan las voces de las brujas de la aquelarre.
Pretty terrifying. If she came to see you personally, then the problem you're facing must truly be of great importance.
Correcto.
Well, it's not like Paimon could understand anything she said.
Yes, she was quite cryptic, but I suspect she means that there is still a way to turn things around. She didn't say when or what that would be, though, so perhaps it is something that you cannot know right now.
Es posible, seguro que la pista que nos dio es útil, pero ¿cuándo entenderemos su valor y significado? ¿Fue esa la mejor respuesta que había a mi pregunta?
Traveler, Paimon, are you two all right?
Oh, we're fine. We're just a little down right now. It kind of feels like the end is coming, you know?
I see. I feel that same sense of desperation, too. I guess you could consider me someone who has often witnessed fate. So far as I have seen, it cannot be swayed. But even so, I still hope for and believe in miracles. Astrology is eternal and rational, but fate may not be. It is cruel, but it can also be beautiful. Perhaps that's what En was trying to tell you. Not to lose heart, and to believe that what you are seeing playing out before you is not yet set in stone. I did originally think of steering clear of all this, but I couldn't. Even if this is all futile, I still wish to help everyone. If we don't struggle to the last, then how can we face the end when it comes?
Huh. You do have a point.
There I go, talking about astrological principles again. Sorry about that. The moment I start talking about work-related stuff.
Bueno, eso está bien, significa que sientes pasión por lo que haces. No te preocupes y
It was
gracias.
worth trying to comfort you, even if only a little. I believe that you'll help those who are struggling in the same way I did. I suppose that might be why we always seem to meet by coincidence.
Paimon feels kind of moved by what Mona said, but also kind of sad too. Hey, Traveler, Paimon suddenly feels like going outside for a walk. Let's go.
Venga, vamos, Paimon, sin miedo.
Around the city, shall we? There's a few spots we always like to walk by.
Vale, pero hay que salir. Bueno, pues vamos a ir a la superficie, ¿de acuerdo? Voy a ir desde aquí. A ver si llegamos. No sé a dónde, pero a algún sitio hay que llegar. Hostia, me gusta que la bruja esa se haya puesto en contacto con nosotros otra vez. Y esta vez ya que el propio juego le haya puesto un nombre. Porque sí, ya tocaba. Vale, pues a ver.
Huh? Our names are written in this newspaper.
Nos hemos hecho famosos sin saberlo.
Let Paimon see.
Pero si ya lo sabías.
The underwater stronghold, the fortress of Meripede, has continued in its noble autonomy. But my recent attempts to enter the fortress bore little fruit. Huh. Guess Charlotte still hasn't given up on that. Thus, did an Outlander friend become the focus of this report. A blonde adventurer with their white fairy, legends trailing in their wake. It is said that this mysterious traveler once visited the underwater fortress. So while the fortress's interior remains a mystery behind closed doors, do not fear, for the tales of the traveler contain surprises in spades. Journalist Charlotte's biggest scoop yet, the Traveler's Trail, World Walker.
Nada mal.
Charlotte took so many awesome photos of us and we never even noticed her. She hasn't been able to get a hold of anything at the fortress, so since we're easier to find, she's using us as the subject matter instead?
Eso parece.
Seriously? Well, fine. Those headlines and photos do look cool, so Paimon will forgive her this time.
Muy bien. Vale, entonces hay que seguir caminando. Bueno, pues vamos hacia allí. Y a ver qué nos encontramos. Vale, bueno. Hostia, con esa velocidad entre Scaramouche y Yelan llego rápido.
Paimon's hungry.
¿Otra vez?
Should we go in and get something to eat?
Joder, Paimon, me preocupas. Bueno, a ver lo que tarda esto en cargarse, que esto ya es peligroso. Cuando empiezan las pantallas de carga pueden ser eternas, donde ya tengo 50 nietos, o recientes, donde acabo de nacer. Vale. A ver.
Hey, quick. Look. That's the limited edition only 16 slices a day cake.
Y aún no se ha agotado.
It was so delicious the last time we tried it. Despite the tense situation we were in, let's give it another go.
Rápido, antes de que alguien se nos adelante.
One slice of cake, please.
No.
Someone showed up after all. Oh, wait, you're the one from the Palais Mermonia.
Oh, are you here to buy cake too? It seems Monsieur Nervalette was right. You really can eat.
Wait, did he really say something like that?
That's right. Even he has his own preferences when it comes to food. As for me, I love the cake and coffee here.
Do you come here often?
Usually every day.
Every day?
It's part of my daily schedule, apart from work. I shall have my cake and coffee.
Then what if someone told you one day that this place would be closing soon, and you wouldn't get to eat cake here anymore? What would you think?
But
Pero
why would
¿por qué
it
se le
close?
ocurren esas preguntas a Paimon?
Well, Paimon doesn't know either, but maybe
Ay, bueno.
Maybe the waters will rise tomorrow. You know.
Oh, the prophecy. To be honest, I haven't paid much attention to that. No. Still, even if there'd be no more cake tomorrow, that wouldn't keep me from having some today. No. It's the same for eating in general. You might not be able to eat tomorrow, but if you can do so today, then you should carry on. That's what people call living, you know.
Huh.
Don't be sad. Excuse me, could I have 2 more slices of cake to go? These 2 slices are for you. Sijuin said that this kind of expression you're making is what humans call being sad.
Oh, you know Sijuin?
I sure do. She was born before me, and she sometimes comes to the surface to teach us things about humans. She said that humans are creatures that are saddened easily, yes, and you can only lift their spirits by feeding them delicious food. So please try the cakes here. I've got something else to do, so I'll be going now. You two try to stay in a good mood after eating, all right? Bye.
Bueno, qué linda la Melusina. Qué amable, por favor. Y esas alas, hostia.
All right, let's dig in. Paimon's sure this cake will be delicious.
Bueno, dadme un poquito, joder. Paimon y tú se miran y comen la tarta. ¿Y yo qué?
It's more delicious than last time. And the flavor gets even better with the sip of tea. It sure would be nice if we could come again tomorrow. Sure would be nice if we could always eat delicious food here.
Sí, bueno. Mucho pides tú. Vale, sal. Bueno, pues vamos a salir, por supuesto. Venga, chao. A ver lo que tardará en cargarse esto otra vez. Pero oye, a ver, yo presiento... Hoy no sé, pero ya en el siguiente vídeo esto se va a poner exageradamente caliente. Hoy ya hemos presenciado cositas bonitas, interesantes.
Oh, we're near the Steambird office. Let's go look for Charlotte and have a chat.
Vale, ahí está Charlotte. O Charlotte, como se diga.
Wow, if it isn't the Traveler and Paimon! Oh, have you seen the article I wrote about you?
Ha! You've got some nerve.
¿Dónde está la parte que nos corresponde?
Oh, you needn't worry about that. I heard that you were in Poisson some time back, so I sent you a letter to discuss just that. It appears you didn't receive it, though. It's all right, though. I've set aside the amount intended for you. I've even set the table with some food.
Really? Oh, you're the best!
You're almost a little too easy to win over, Paimon. If I were a journalist with ulterior motives, you'd be in trouble now, you know.
Oh, Paimon knows you're not like that.
Still, what brings you here all of a sudden? Were you looking for me?
When Mona mentioned you, we thought of coming to see you at work.
I see. It seems you've already bumped into Mona here in Fontaine. So she mentioned me? What did she say?
She said that you're a real daredevil of a
Nice. In which case, can this daredevil journalist dare to request an exclusive interview with the legendary Traveler and Paimon?
Huh? So your article in the paper today doesn't count?
Oh, of course it doesn't. That was more like live photography. What I'd like to do is dive deeper and ask you to talk about the things you've seen and experienced.
¿De verdad quieres entrevistarnos?
Yeah. Are we even qualified enough?
Why not? If I say you're worth an interview, then you're worth it. But not right now, of course. I'll need a few days to prepare.
Oh, in that case, we'll just chat when you have the time then?
Oh, so that's a yes? Ooh, splendid! I'll tell the editor-in-chief immediately.
Muy bien, joder.
Apply for lighting, a venue, some props, and... Whew, so much to get done now. Talk to you later.
Bueno, pues ya está, perfecto.
Charlotte, Paimon's still got a question for you.
Casi te escucho.
And what's
Pues
that?
sí.
If, just for example, Fontaine were to be flooded tomorrow, what would you do today?
Huh. That's the prophecy you're talking about, isn't it? I mean, I do hear about it often, but I've never once thought that the day could be tomorrow. If you're seriously asking, then I might try and think of a way to leave Fontaine. Oh, but I'm still a journalist, first and foremost. That means I have a duty to be reporting from the scene. And secondly, I wouldn't forsake my homeland that easily. From what I've seen, most people don't know what they'd do should the worst come to pass. In truth, it might be better just to behave like normal rather than worry over such an end. So in all likelihood, I'd probably still be prepping at the office for that interview of ours. I know what you're thinking. That sounds a bit sad, but I've always believed that it's best to do what you enjoy. Just think about it. If this nation really were to be suddenly destroyed tomorrow,
but I still successfully finish an exclusive interview with a truly unique person, then the story I would wind up writing would truly be timeless. And then do you know what I'd do? Well, I'd write that story, send it for printing, and use messenger pigeons to get copies out to the various nations as soon as possible. I'm not a dreamer, nor am I a workaholic, but I do love my job, and I'd be proud of leaving such an article behind. I guess you could say that I was born to be a journalist. But anyway, that's my answer. And on that note, I'll get back to my preparations.
Bueno, pues muy bien.
That's so nice. All of a sudden, Paimon actually kinda envies her. Anyway, let's go and take a look at the sea, shall we?
Muy bien, vámonos. Vale, ya automáticamente me llevan. Perfecto, así da gusto viajar. Pero que no tarde. A ver. Aunque de momento me quedan 10 minutos. Aproximadamente.
The sea breeze and scenery can be a pretty soothing combo, huh?
Qué bonito, madre mía.
Paimon's been
A ver.
thinking.
¿El qué?
If it wasn't Fontaine, but all of Tevat that would be destroyed tomorrow, where would we go and what would we do? No, Paimon should ask, if you could choose, what would you like to do?
Si pudiera elegir, es como lo que dijo Charlotte. Devanarse los sesos pensando en ello no tiene sentido.
We've been moving to the next destination, so we haven't spent much time thinking about these kinds of things. We didn't have to either, with us always being on the road and whatnot.
Claro, y seguiré haciéndolo hasta que ese día
You
llegue.
mean, still traveling?
Sí, admirando todo lo que hay en este mundo.
Huh. Wait, isn't that what we've always been doing?
Claro, el tiempo pasa volando mientras charlas con Paimon. Al caer la noche vuelven a su alojamiento para dar el día por terminado. Los días siguientes son muy tranquilos y Charlotte los entrevista en la base de Espero y Rosula en el río Ceniciento. Tras terminar lo que tenía que hacer en Poison, Navi regresa a la sede y toma una imagen conjunta de ustedes. Todo parece ir bien. Bueno, muy rápido ha pasado todo esto, cuidado. El juego tiene prisa en enseñarnos algo, porque todo esto ha ido volando.
Feels like it'll grow mold if you stay here long enough. But it's still better than the Fortress of Mirapede, that's for sure. It's not only damp there, but salty too.
Ah, so the two of you are still here.
Oh, you're from the Palais Mermonia, aren't you?
Yes, I'm Isadora. Monsieur Nervillet sent me to look for you two before. I heard that afterward you went to the Fortress of Meropide.
¿Pensabas que éramos fugitivos?
Not at all. I'm well aware that you're friends of his. Actually, I'm here to pass along a message from him.
¿Ha ocurrido algo?
Inside the Opera House. The Maréchaussée Phantom has declared the incident a small-scale riot.
A riot?
Well, that said, I don't personally think it was that serious. Lady Furina was watching a performance at the Opera House, and while she was resting during an intermission, some other audience members suddenly started harassing, loudly accusing her of doing nothing about the prophecy crisis. And before she could respond, others started to join in. The crowd continued to grow, and protests against the Hydro Archon started to break out.
So people have started to put the blame on Furina. Guess they finally found an outlet for the pressure they've been under due to the prophecy.
I agree. People will naturally rely on gods, as is customary. But the moment people feel threatened, gods are also the first to be blamed.
So what happened after that? Is Furina okay?
Seeing that the situation was spiraling out of control and that further argument was pointless, she claimed that she'd gotten tired of this, and the Maréchaussée Phantom had their hands full maintaining order and did not catch where Lady Furina had gone. Only when things had stabilized did we realize that she had gone missing.
So, you mean she's still missing?
That's right. The Maréchaussée has dispatched many people to search for her, but we don't have any leads yet. That said, I don't think there's much to worry about. She is a god after all. Even if she were to fall into the hands of rioters, what could ordinary people do to her?
Ya veo.
Good. Monsieur Nervillet sent me to tell you about the situation, but he didn't say anything else.
Don't worry, this is more than enough to go on. Thanks for keeping us informed.
Ah, is that so? Well, all right then. In that case, you two take care.
Vale. Bueno, Furina, claro, después de que de golpe todo el mundo vaya en contra de ella, pues se ha asustado. Qué clara tienes las cosas.
Furina, she won't try to fix things in this situation. Instead, she'll look for a place to wait out the heat.
Correcto.
And as we also know, she may be loud and dramatic, but she doesn't have a heart of stone. When Nervalais was talking to her in the Palais Mermonia, and she heard about Poisson, she couldn't hide her sadness and remorse. It would be hard for her to ignore being accused by the public today. Paimon thinks Furina's probably taken the opportunity to slip away to Poisson and try to relieve the sense of guilt that she's feeling. Huh. Well, what do you think? Paimon knows the
Muy
answer,
bien.
of course, but Paimon can do the
Leer novelas de
analysis
misterio ha
that
servido de
Paimon
algo.
can do. In that case, there's not a moment to lose. Poisson, here we come.
Bueno, pues vamos a Poison. Vale, por lo visto hemos terminado Cazadores y Profetas. Y ahora... el día del juicio. Bueno, pues vale. Vamos a ver si la encontramos. Tenemos que ir justamente ahí. Claro, en Poison. Pues vamos para allí. Quedan 4 minutos, esto va a ser la última escena. Espero que no sea muy larga, porque justamente ahora que voy a dejarlo se van a inventar una escena de 30 minutos. Ya veréis.
This place looks deserted. Guess all the survivors must have evacuated already. All
Ahí abajo
that's
está,
left here are signs of devastation. Could Furina really be here? Let's try to find her as soon as possible.
Vale, pues sí. Ahí está, joder. Vale, perfecto. A ver qué ocurre aquí, porque esto ya...
It's
Uf.
Furina, right over there.
Calla, coño.
Should I just give up? This is all meaningless. What was meant to happen did happen after all. Everyone's dead. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. Give up, Furina. There's no point in holding out. I'm sorry. But what can I even do other than to repeat meaningless apologies over and over?
Furina.
Who's that?
Don't worry, Furina, it's just us.
So it is you, blonde traveler from another land. Why, I almost thought you were someone from that mob of my ignorant subjects. Come to kneel and beg for my forgiveness.
Furina, you were crying just now, weren't you? The tear stains on your face are obvious.
What do you mean, tear stains? Oh, I remember. The show at the Opera House earlier this morning was so moving. I'm still trying to process it. Who did that uncivilized rabble think they were, disturbing my enjoyment of the arts? They even dare to tout their Archon. I must teach them a lesson. I can just imagine their twisted and frustrated faces once they realize that I'm nowhere to be found. Oh, and I'm sure Nouvellette and those people from the Maréchal Phantom are freaking out right next to
Furina,
them too.
no lo ocultes. Claramente estás triste.
Of course not.
Hey, there she is! The Hydro Archon's over there! Quick, after her!
Bueno, a ver qué pasa aquí. Habrá que aclarar
Furina,
unos
those
puntos.
people seem to be after you.
They are... They're just some rabid fans who want to cut the line. Because
Sí, claro,
that's
claro.
against the rules. I can't let them get their way.
Bueno,
Furina just ran off. Quick, we have to catch up with her.
bueno, vamos, vamos. Madre mía. Bueno, perfecto, joder.
This should be the place, right? Hey, Furina! There's a good hiding spot over here. Quick, come to Paimon before the rest of them catch up to you.
What is this place?
Hurry, they're almost here.
Fine, fine. I suppose haste is warranted. Lead the way.
Pues apruébala ya, joder. Venga, vamos. Bueno, a ver qué pasa, porque esto sí que huele ya a intensidad absoluta, ¿eh? Intensidad absoluta. Bueno, veamos. 5 años después.
Everyone's exhausted.
I'm so tired. I totally thought they had caught me. No, I mean, I merely gave in to the sheer enthusiasm they displayed.
Un poco más bajito. Este sitio no está insonorizado.
You're right. Yep, that's a good girl.
What's happening? The ground's shaking. Is it an earthquake?
A lo mejor es otra catástrofe.
Yeah, a quake of this kind preceded the flooding.
Hostia, es verdad, tío.
Didn't it?
It can't be. It's happening again.
Well, there's no need to worry too much about that. Neverlette's made some emergency plans, so the evacuation should go a lot smoother this time.
Yeah, I hope you're right. But the people of Poisson, they've...
Joder, lo he quitado sin querer. Bueno, a ver, ¿habrá llegado Furina ya al límite? Parece que ahora se comporta de una manera más natural. Furina se relaja y charlan un rato. ¿Vale?
It's true. I've been investigating the prophecy for hundreds of years. I once had informants all over Tevat, searching for clues and feeding information back to me. I've tried all kinds of ways, too, to hold back the sea. Anything to keep the coastline from advancing. But all my efforts proved to be futile in the end. Really, the truth has been clear to me for a very long time. We cannot make an enemy of the divine. No matter what we do, the will of the heavenly principles will have its way, and the prophecy shall be fulfilled.
Y aún sabiendo eso, no te has rendido, ¿cierto?
Give up. I do love the sound of that phrase. It would mean finally coming to terms with fate, but also for me to finally be free.
Pero también significaría que no hay ninguna esperanza.
Indeed. I've thought about giving up so many times, especially after we almost lost Poisson. Fate is really unreasonable, isn't it? It has no heart and obeys no rules. The prophecy has only just started to come true, and so many people have already lost their lives. But just now, it all became clear to me. I still don't have the right to come to terms with fate on behalf of everyone else. As long as the final moment hasn't come, it's still not too late. Don't worry. I will keep hope alive for everyone until the very end. Well, that's enough for now. I got the impulse to play the stricken maiden, but honestly, considering my rank and station, that wasn't a good fit at all. Don't take any of what I just said seriously. How could I possibly let Fontaine fall to the whims of trivial prophecy?
Come on! Paimon could have sworn you were actually being honest just now.
No tenemos mucho tiempo, tengo que preguntarle algo más o no habremos avanzado nada. Furina, no hace falta que cargues tú sola con todo esto. Aunque nadie sepa la verdad, tu pueblo estará dispuesto a compartir la carga que llevas.
Share
Que llevas.
my burden. That's impossible. It was fated right from the start that this would be my duty alone.
Aunque no puedas compartirla, sí puedes contarme qué es. Cuéntamelo, seré tu testigo.
Yes, I've heard that you came to Tevat from beyond the stars, yes. In other words, you never belonged here. And if Tevat is, in its entirety, a show on a stage, then you're just a spectator, aren't you? If that's the case...
No hay tiempo, dilo ya, Furina. Bueno, a ver qué pasa, ¿eh? Huele a escena. Ay, ay, ay. Bueno, a ver. Ha caído en la trampa, ¿no? Se podría decir. ¡Hostia! Ha salido todo bien, entonces. Madre mía.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes my opening performance. Now, without further ado, we may proceed to the trial of our god.
So, this is what it is. Yes, you deserve praise for the effort you took to raise the dramatic stakes. Do not forget, however, that I am Fosilor, the god of justice, the embodiment of justice itself.
May I interpret these words as your refusal to stand trial? In that case, you will have the opportunity to defend your honor through a duel.
You would draw your blade against a god?
Oh.
I see. It seems like you have made up your mind.
Paimon can't believe it. She just surrendered.
What the heck is going on? Did I just see an Archon surrender to a human?
Wow, how utterly humiliating.
Lady Furina, what is the meaning of this?
Shh. It would seem that there has been a misunderstanding. To be clear, the raising of both hands is not always an indication of surrender.
Looking for excuses again, huh?
I raised my hands just now to indicate my acceptance of the trial. No duel shall be necessary. I will admit that I've been running away for a long time. I'm sorry, everyone. I was unable to protect the people of Poisson. It is my duty to stand trial for my crimes. You are not the only ones to be disappointed in me. But now, it is time for the Hydro Archon to show you her courage and resolve. I, Furina, will use this trial to show the world the true meaning of justice. This time, I will protect you. Applaud and rejoice. One of the most outrageous and fantastical arcs known to the opera epiclese is now unfolding before your eyes. Mark my words. This shall be one of the most exhilarating and brilliant shows ever to grace the stage of Fontaine. The trial of the Hydro Archon,